Welcome back to another segment of Farming in Social Distancing. My name is Jonah Bosques. I'm here with Francisco Rivera, and today we have Dr. Joao Bittar, our favorite large animal veterinarian, with us, and he's going to be talking to us about anaplasmosis, which is a disease that it's frequently affecting the cattle industry, both in Florida and throughout the nation. So, Dr. Bittar, how are things in Gainesville today?
Hello, Jonael, and hello, Francisco. Things here are good. It's raining, but we're here. Thanks for asking. Hopefully, things are good in your place as well.
Let's put this in context, why we're talking about anaplasmosis and why it's important to our producers, basically, Dr. Bittar.
Yes, Jonael and Francisco, anaplasmosis is a very important disease of cattle because in the United States, it's responsible for about 300 millions of costs, about $300 million for the producers. And a lot of these is because the adult animals, when they get infected, they have a high chance to die. And then some other animals, they have a low performance. And then you have the carriers, animals that they are the ones that got the disease, their immune system fought the disease, but they're developing this kind of challenges, so they don't produce as much as the producer would like. And the anaplasmosis transmitted by blood, and then the biting insects in the chicks are very important vectors to transmit this disease. And here in Florida, the high humidity and high temperature is very adequate for those vectors to to grow and then help to transmit the disease. And another point is that there is a constantly introduction of adult animals to Florida, like breeding bulls, and then these animals might be contaminated with anaplasma marginalis, bringing this to the herds, or they might be naive animals that never had don't have immunity for this disease, and then got introduced to a herd that are have the disease. So those animals are either bringing the disease or can be risk to get infected. So that's very important here in Florida.
Dr. Bittar, let's talk about prevention. What can we do in order for us to get a handle? What practices we can employ to avoid having anaplasmosis as a major issue in our herds?
So anaplasmosis is a disease caused by bacteria from the order of the rickettsias that's obligated to infect the red blood cells, and then is transmitted by affected blood from a contaminated animal to a naive animal. So there are three ways in which this blood transmission, infected blood transmission, can occur. An important one is from the chicks, contaminated chicks. The other ones are from the flies, the large mouth flies. In this case, will be the house and horse flies mostly. The horn flies, because they have short mouthpiece, there is no evidence that they can transmit the Anaplasma marginale. And the third one is very important. It's by using foam mites or any equipment that is contaminated with blood. So you can use tattoo pliers, ear tag pliers, hormone implant pliers, contaminated needles, IV hoses, knives. Sometimes they're going to castrate calves, bull calves. So if those animals are contaminated, and if the producer or the technician is using the same equipment between animals and not disinfectant, then there's a high risk of transmission.
Dr. Bittar, for the beef cattle producers that are watching us, what are the common signs of anaplasmosis disease? How I can detect that? What are the different tools that I can use?
So this disease in the US, the most impact are in adult animals. So the usually the young animals, calves, yearlings, they don't. Some of these animals don't even show clinical signs. Maybe just uh, some mild inaptitude, or they don't eat as much as the other, but very kind of seldom. When you go to the older animals and the adult animals, then you might have fever, animals stop eating, uh, they have decrease in rumen motility, uh, they might be constipated, dry feces. So they can have in the adult animals, they can have a rapid weight losses, weight loss, and sometimes they can have a pale membrane mucosis because of the loss of red blood cells.
So this bacteria actually is feeding on red blood cells, and that's why you have jaundice and you have anemia as some of the signs, right?
Yes, this Anaplasma marginale is one of the major causes of anemia in cattle, and they must infect the red blood cells to keep on their cycle.
Dr. Vitar, what steps do beef cattle producers need to follow if they suspect that they have anaplasmosis in their herd?
So it's very important to have a good veterinary client relationship, because if the producer think that the animal is sick by anaplasmosis, you need to start treating. And then it might be with the use of antibiotics, in which the veterinary is the one that can prescribe. And then the animal might need supportive fluids. And if the anemia is severe, it might even need a blood transfusion. So don't wait. Talk to the vets, and then they are able to kind of educate you about uh, the possibility of the disease to be in your area. So talk to your veterinarians, because they might know the prevalence of the disease in your areas or in some herds, and they can work together with him or her, trying to prevent or to control this important disease. In the adult cattle, there's a higher risk of death, so the animals can even die really quick because of this disease.
So, in conclusion, if you have more questions about anaplasmosis, remember that you can contact Dr. Bittar or you can contact your veterinarian in your community. Thank you, Dr. Bittar, for being with us. It's a pleasure to have you here, and you know that you have the door open here in case that you want to bring us any other important topic for beef producers.
All right, thank you, Jonael and Francisco. It was always been a pleasure to be with you all. And if you guys have any more questions, please contact us. We'll be more than happy to help the beef cattle producers that want to learn more.